All right, good evening, guys. Hope everyone is having a great day. I just wanted to hop on here, kind of go over what happened today, what price action was like for me, and overall my bias and all that good stuff. So, for those that happen to care, today we were bullish. Why were we bullish? We're coming off this daily PDA right here, which is your buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency. So we've come in at the start of the day, we were in here delivering down here. So I'm expecting to see some type of reaction out of here. And no, I'm not ignoring the sell side imbalance that we're also distributing from, which is this other gap, which we're currently in. And we've seen sensitivity before. But if we're going to be closing above here, I'm expecting more bullish price action, given that we've given ourselves some support to the upside as well here. So I do like this for higher prices. I do think market will be reaching for all-time highs. And that's where we're heading to. But yeah, overall, I'm keeping that bullish bias in mind. Um, and with that being said, I am also not opposed to taking a short for some internal sell side, but typically my high probability setups will be going to the upside. So let's go ahead and drop down to the 1 hour and see exactly what we're looking at. So at 9, let me see, 1 hour, and we'll go 9 a.m. We also had 10 a.m. news. So it's something I personally was waiting for. And I wouldn't trade until afterwards. So right here at 9:30, we have our open. We're trading like this. Let me see. There it is. Okay, 9:30 right there. So we distribute higher, we come lower, we sweep this internal sell side, right? And on the hourly, we're going into this sell side imbalance right here, right? So I'm not completely dismissing the idea that we can head lower if we wanted to head lower into this area and these areas down here, which on the 4 hour, I believe, would look like this, right? And this would be the low that we can sweep, but everything is mitigated, right? We've been respecting bullish PD arrays, completely mitigated here. There's no reason for market. If we're incredibly bullish, we're going to continue to go higher. So my targets now become these highs and whatnot. So back to the 5-minute chart. While we're on the 5-minute chart, market opens, distributes higher, then dumps lower in sweeping this internal sell side. And then from here, I want to pay attention to what exactly it is that we do, right? I'm not really interested in taking a trade from here, even though I am bullish. It's just not my model. It's not really presenting itself. But I will go over where a model that I followed did present itself, and unfortunately, I didn't act on it. So let's go ahead and go through that. So right here now, we've created a small 5-minute displacement. I'm just paying attention to that. And on ES, we look like this same exact time right here, right? So let's let that play out. We've come down, we've rebalanced price. Meanwhile, ES came lower. So we slightly create an S&T here with this low and this low. And this is something I was looking at and I did really like on NQ, right? Right here. I really like this right here. Once we displace higher, we had our order block here, which is just a change in the state of delivery, right? We had a nice chunky order block here, which looked pretty solid. If we drop down to the 1 minute, then we had our clear inversion right there. Right, this is the trade I also did not take. I didn't feel comfortable taking this. I thought we were gonna get a nicer setup, but technically the stop would have to be at the SMT low. But if you're tight with it, then you can put it at your order block, I guess. But you would get filled in around, well, I guess you would buy a market there, or you would put your limit there and you would get filled here. And then you would be targeting, right, your high. And this would have been your 1 to 2. So this is a really good trade. I did sleep on this one right here, unfortunately. My overall target was these relative highs right here. Why? Because these were the only highs that really caught my attention that were relative to each other or equal. And right above there was a 5-minute unmitigated PD array from quite some time ago that we have yet to mitigate. So we're going to go to, price is going to draw to unmitigated PD arrays or areas of liquidity, which is this. Areas of liquidities are found below old lows or above old highs, and unmitigated areas in price. So areas that are There's not been any price printed through them. So that's what I look for. And so we go back to this example. We keep tape reading this. So this trade would actually played out really nicely. But if you're just going for your 1 to 2, there's your high here. And today served as a great day to reflect on hesitation. I think I encountered a little bit more hesitation on my trading day today for sure. Seeing a setup and not really wanting something higher quality, right? And then not taking it because wanting something higher quality, I guess. But this is really good. This is really, really solid. Then again, we leave another inefficiency here. And so now I'm expecting price, if we're not going to, just go straight higher, I'm expecting some type of manipulation here. So anything in this area here, we're just accumulating, then we manipulate lower, right? And then we start respecting the same order block on the 5, and then we start displacing higher. I really like this as well. This here's another trade that I was not able to get in because the risk would have been, for me, the stop would have to be down here. So we have a breaker here. Here's our bullish breaker. This would be the entry here, right? On this fair value gap, first presented one. And if we come lower, we can add more. And then we would be targeting this ultimate target, right? Or your 1 to 2, which 1 to 2 would hit right there, right about there. So here we can go ahead and scale off. And then we target our 1 to whatever the RR is on that. And as we can see, we get filled in there. And we do have the sell side imbalance, but if we're bullish, we're expecting this to just be ran through and not respected to the downside. And so for we do get it there. And this was a trade that really stung me right here, that I was like, oh, I really missed it. Like, this is A+ as well. And again, missed it because of hesitation, just flat out, right? And we get our first 1 to 2 right here. Majority of your position come off there, or if you want to hold it to the very much target. Now, unfortunately, this is where I got in, holding to this target. So I got in on a very silly trade here. So I got in here and I put my stop below here, and I was just holding for a 1 to 2 right there, which would meet with the target and we would displace higher. I think I actually got in a little bit lower, enough to get the 1 to 2, because I remember the 1 to 2 was just like right there. So it might have been just whatever permitted me the 1 to 2 to be, it must have been like around right here, maybe CE of this gap. But as I got in, it works out for a little bit, and then we displace lower, stops me out, and then I'm pretty much just done for the day at that point, right? Let's see. And then right here. So once it stops me out, I then really like this right here. Right? Because we displace higher and we're coming off this, changing the state. So I really like this big displacement out of here. But this is where I get in for the second time, right? My stop is below the order block, and I'm like, it offers me a better risk to reward. And this is where I make another mistake, where I get filled, and as soon as I see that it's displacement higher, I go ahead and move my stop to break even, right? Pretty newbie mistake. I moved it out of fear, I guess, from this losing trade. So I move it to break even, and I'm like, if I don't want to risk any more than I have already lost on this trade. And I did enter this one with 10 micros, pretty much one whole mini. So I already was a little bit more on the caution side. And so when I get stopped at break even, I call it a day, just close off the charts. And it's unfortunate because then I get the alert that it did hit this target. And I would have never got stopped out. But again, these are just lessons to learn, mistakes. And it's very interesting how the human brain works. And it wants to protect you at all costs, right? We've already taken a losing trade over here. So your brain no longer sees and allows the probabilities to play out, even though we should be letting them play out, right? Because that's what trading is. It's just simple probabilities. But when we interfere and we let our human emotion come into play, that's when it becomes more than just another transaction. It becomes more so you wanting to control the marketplace. And that's where a lot of things can go wrong, right? So of course we journaled this, we did our daily stuff that we need to do with this, but it's just very frustrating days like this where you know where the draw is, you know exactly where the market's going, but you end up doing something emotional that causes you to miss out on a trade. Because this trade, if I would have just let it play out, accepted the risk that it was on there, but for me not wanting to lose more, which is emotional, right? You miss out on potentially more money. So it is what it is. PM session, there's absolutely nothing for me. I don't really see anything at all. We just completely dump. I believe there's an SMT at the highs. Yep, there's an SMT there. And then from that SMT, we just dump lower. So that was my final target. After that was met, I was obviously done. And that was the second trade that ran without me. Well, I got break it even. And then from there, I just didn't find any interest anymore. So yeah, that was pretty much a recap of today's trading. Um, and yeah, but yeah, that was it. Let's see. I can't really, yeah, we just dump after that, consolidate. Yeah, but key takeaways and lessons is remember that every trade is individual, um, statistically individual of every trade in the past. But typically our brain wants to protect us. So we use our previous experiences to make decisions in the present to give ourselves some type of reasoning to be able be out of the trade or participate or increase the trade frequency, 2 trades per day for me. I think that's a little bit too much. But again, we've also came and we've missed 2 trades that we thought were really good, right? So we already have this tension being built from over here. We've missed we've missed this trade, and then we also missed this trade. And then on top of that, we want to participate into this trade, but it's already gone, right? So we try to get into something here premium. This is pretty much buying at a premium. Buying up here to aim for this, the risk to reward doesn't make sense. Something else I noted. Um, I used to have a pretty big problem buying at premium sometimes. It's gotten a lot better, but today it got me where I got induced into wanting to buy at a premium. And yeah, it is what it is. You just have to learn from it. But that's what happens when you buy at a premium. Market is likely to come to a discount, manipulate lower, and then head higher, right? Your directional bias is still correct. There's no need for you to change your bias and be like, okay, I'm going short off this fair value gap. Because what would have happened if I would have went in short as well? If I would have went in short right here and you put your stop above the high and you try to aim for lower prices, you would have got destroyed as well, right? So that's why you don't want to change your bias. You just want to make sure that you understand why the market is doing what it's doing and why it's coming lower. Now, this can cost you and pretty much put you out for the day, so that way you cannot trade anymore. I'd rather not take more trades and be done for the day and end red than continuing to push the button, trying to make my money back when I know that tomorrow there's going to be other great opportunities and so forth. So, knowing when to stop, crucial. Understanding what mistakes you made, also crucial. And then taking the day away from the charts is also crucial. So that's why I came back so late and I went to go do other things that I'm working on, um, aside from being on the charts, because you have to have a life outside of the charts. You can't let the charts be pretty much everything you think about and do. Work on other things, work on other side hustles, go make the money back other ways, go find other hobbies and things to make your money back, other side hustles, go work, go do something, so you can understand also the value of how much it is you're losing, whether you're losing $500, $600, what does that mean? Right. So if you go try to make that money back in a day doing a regular job, a side hustle, whatever it is, you're going to understand and put more perspective into how much money you're really risking. Right. So that's something that at least helps me. It always keeps me humble, keeps me grateful. And of course, if another opportunity presents itself tomorrow, we will execute. So the economic calendar looks pretty solid for this week. It looks like we have a lot of red folders. So I'll be waiting for those red folders to drop and then I'll be trading. But yeah, I just wanted to hop on here, give a quick review of what I did today, how I perceive the market. And it's very interesting. Your bias can be completely right, but Your execution has to be on point. And that's why trading is not easy. A lot of people think trading is pretty straightforward. You see a video on YouTube, you learn about technicals, and all of a sudden yeah, no. Trading is incredibly hard, incredibly difficult. I would say 90% of trading is inside your brain. It's all psychological. And then 10% is going to be the technicals, learning what a fair value gap is and so forth. But how you control yourself, how disciplined you are with all your emotions and your psychology, I think is what's going to make you be alive in this game long enough to watch yourself succeed, right? Because if not, then you'll eat yourself up in days like this where you are correct, but you just don't stop, or you want to be correct and you want to end green. You have to acknowledge that some days you're just going to end red, and that's fine. You can't expect to always be on that green streak or making money. Some days you're going to lose money, and there's going to be perfect opportunities for you to learn. That's why the video is so long. Because if there wasn't anything of value here, anything to learn from, then I wouldn't be talking for this long, right? But I think that this is great insight for anybody that took a loss today or that took a win. Reflect on those wins, reflect on those losses, and really understand, if you took a loss, what is it that I'm doing wrong? What inside of me, what kind of psychological barriers and battles am I going through, right? That can be different than anybody else. Because trading will reflect everything from where you come from, your overall development as a human being, your consciousness will all come into play. So other than that, I'll stop yapping. Hope everybody has a good evening. I'm gonna go hit another gym session, get my last cardio session in for the day, and hope everyone has a great evening. Good luck tomorrow if you guys are trading or whatever endeavor you're doing, whatever business you're working on. Keep it up. Don't give up. Remember, discipline over dopamine with everything. But have a great day, guys, and I'll see you guys tomorrow, hopefully.